When you think of Ann Wilson, the first image that often comes to mind is her commanding stage presence, a force to be reckoned with during the explosive era of 80s rock power ballads. Her voice, both haunting and uplifting, defined a generation. But behind this iconic image lies a complex interplay of motivations and pressures, driving her every public move. As we peel back these layers, we begin to see not just the artist in the spotlight, but the intricacies of her inner world. Ann Wilson's public persona seems to align closely with the Enneagram Type 4 with a 3-wing. Type 4s are often characterized by their intense emotional depth and a longing for authenticity. The 3-wing adds a layer of ambition, a drive to be seen and admired, which perfectly complements her musical career. But what motivates a 4? At the core is a desire to find identity and significance, often leading them to express themselves in unique, sometimes dramatic ways. For Ann, this expression was her music, a canvas of her soul laid bare for the world to interpret. Yet the Enneagram also reveals what she might be avoiding, the fear of having no personal significance or being unnoticed. This fear can create a paradoxical dance of craving attention while dreading the loss of one's individual voice. In Ann's case, the fame machine both rewarded and intensified this dynamic, fueling her to maintain a persona that was larger than life. Consider the ecosystem that shaped her, an industry that thrives on image and distinctiveness, rewarding those who stand out while punishing those who falter. The fame machine demands not just talent, but a certain kind of resilience, one that Ann had to cultivate amidst relentless pressures. The music label and media often act as the trickster archetype in this narrative, enticing with promises of success but always shifting the goalposts. They create a scenario where Ann had to continually prove her worth, not just as an artist but as a brand. Within the group dynamics of Heart, Ann's role was both as a heroine and a caretaker. Her sister Nancy, also a significant presence in the band, shared ups and downs in this familial yet businesslike relationship. Here, Ann's archetype would also embrace the mentor, a role she might have felt compelled to assume to guide and protect those around her. But even a mentor needs support, and it's in these relationships that the tension between her public mask and private self becomes palpable. The audience saw a rock goddess, confident and unyielding, but the role demanded emotional labor that often went unseen. The constant performance and the requirement to keep the image intact could lead to a feeling of suffocation. This is the shadow side of fame that Ann experienced, a dark psychology where the very gift of her voice could become a cage. Imagine the pressure of being perpetually on, of having every note of vulnerability scrutinized under the public gaze. Ann's journey is a testament to the duality of her gift, where it brought both liberation and confinement. Here, the shadow integration process becomes crucial. The shadow self, according to Jungian psychology, comprises the hidden or less developed parts of our personality. For Ann, integrating the shadow meant reconciling her need for genuine expression with the constructed persona the industry demanded. This psychological tension resonates beyond Ann's story. How many of us craft masks to navigate our worlds, feeling the weight of roles that people love yet never fully understand? Ann's story invites us to reflect on our own lives. Have you ever felt like you had to become a role because people loved the role more than they understood you? In exploring Ann Wilson's journey, we're not just delving into a rock legend's life, but tapping into a universal narrative of identity, authenticity, and the masks we wear to survive. As we peel back these layers, we're left questioning, what happens when the role consumes the person? And where do you recognize this pattern in yourself? As we continue to unpack these stories, consider this as an invitation to explore your own path, to see where your public persona might be at odds with your inner desires. In the quiet spaces behind the curtain, away from the stage lights and roaring crowds, Ann Wilson grappled with the very essence of her identity. The shadow integration wasn't just a philosophical exercise, it was a daily challenge. For Ann, the Enneagram Type 4, with a wing 3, known as the individualist, her core desire was to find her true self and significance. But this desire was often at odds with the image she projected. The wing 3, the achiever, craved validation and success, pushing her to maintain an image that was both inspiring and exhausting. The duality within Ann was like living with a constant push and pull, a dance between authenticity and expectation. Her core fear, Being without identity or personal significance could be magnified by the spotlight she inhabited. In moments of solitude, perhaps during a late night on the tour bus or a quiet morning before a sound check, she might have contemplated this paradox. Where did Ann Wilson, the person, end and Ann Wilson, the rock icon, begin? These reflections are not just about fame and identity. They speak to a more profound truth about the human experience. We all have facets of ourselves that remain hidden, parts we may not be ready to face or integrate. The Jungian process of shadow work involves bringing these elements into the light, acknowledging their existence, and finding a way to harmonize them with our conscious identity. For Anne, this might have involved recognizing how her deepest insecurities fueled both her greatest triumphs and her most profound struggles. Consider the moments on stage when Anne's voice soared effortlessly, captivating audiences worldwide. This was her authentic self shining through, the uninhibited expression of a soul connected deeply to her art. Yet off stage, she might have felt the weight of expectations pressing down, the need to continuously produce and perform to meet the expectations of fans and industry alike. This external pressure can be suffocating, especially when one's internal world is not fully integrated or supported. In the broader ecosystem of her life, Anne's relationships played a crucial role. Friends, family, and bandmates could serve as mirrors, reflecting parts of her she might not want to see. They also provided the support and grounding she needed to navigate the stormy seas of fame. But even here, the complexity of human interaction comes into play. Were these relationships based on genuine connection, or were they influenced by the roles each person played within the group dynamic? The tension between Anne's public and private selves might manifest in stress and growth spirals, typical of a Type 4. Stress could push her into the lower traits of Type 2, the helper, leading her to overextend herself in trying to meet others' needs, seeking love and approval. In growth, however, she could access the healthy traits of Type 1, the reformer, finding clarity, integrity, and a sense of purpose beyond performance. Anne's journey is not just a rock star's tale, but a mirror to our own lives. How often do we find ourselves trapped in roles, personas crafted to meet external expectations, while our true desires remain unexpressed? The story invites us to examine where we might wear similar masks, where our public personas clash with our inner truths. In delving deeper into Anne's life and struggles, we're reminded that the process of uncovering and accepting our shadows is a lifelong journey. It's about finding the courage to stand in our authenticity, even when the world demands conformity. Anne's story is one of resilience, a testament to the human spirit's capacity to evolve and integrate its complexities. As we close this exploration, consider where your own shadows lie, where your personal desires echo within the roles you play. Ann Wilson's journey encourages us to embrace our full selves, to find harmony in the dichotomy of our existence, and to let our true voices be heard in a world that often demands